Hello, everybody out there. Oh, it's so lovely to see my special guest to my right, to my left. And I get to introduce her to you in just one moment. First, I just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Lisa Harris, and I am an author, a storyteller, a narrative coach, and the CEO and founder of Lisa Harris and Company. And Lisa Harris and Company is a personal development and coaching business that connects, guides, and transforms women's lives through the power of storytelling. And I'm super thrilled to introduce everyone to my special guest today. She is actually going to be a co host in our upcoming event. So, for those of you who haven't been following or you're seeing this for the first time on your crazy feed, we are having a fall online series called Unveiled Beauty Holding Hands. And this originated back in 2020, and we're continuing it here in 2022. And it's a space for women to connect and share. And this fabulous woman I've known since 2017. She will be co hosting along with four other incredible women. But this gal, she's extra special to me because she's been with me almost literally since the beginning. So she can tell you about that. But most importantly, I want her to share about herself and a little bit about what she might be talking about in this upcoming event, which is called Motherhood from Birth to Infinity. So I would like to introduce you all to Miss Liz Reynolds. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everybody. How are you today? It's a gorgeous day outside, at least where we're at, though
Yeah.
I'm holed up in my dark basement office, but it's a gorgeous day. And as Lisa and I just talked about, the kids are off to school, which is the best part of the beginning of September is I get back to focusing on myself and my business and my personal self-care. But yeah, it's just great. Kids are back in school and I'm happy to be here in front of all of you.
Yes, and kids back in school. So
Yeah.
that totally leads us into our conversation. But before we talk about that, I would absolutely love to share with our audience our history. And then I would love for you to share with them the work that you do as well. You know, this is a time for me to also highlight other women and what they're doing in the community and what they're doing professionally. So first of all, for those who don't know, Liz, my friend Liz, she started supporting this platform back in 2017 at the very first event when we were just trying to figure out what the heck we were doing. And some days we still feel like we're trying to figure it out too. But in that moment, she volunteered to help us at that event. And Liz has really been along the way the entire time. And so now we're here in 2022. Liz also went through our program and shared her very personal and intimate story on our Unveiled Beauty stage back in 2019 and just continues to support in many ways behind the scenes and in front. And I'm just so excited to have her back again in a little bit different way, right? Leading these vulnerable conversations. So not only our historical storytelling events, this event's a little different. It's more of an open conversation, and we're also sharing our stories, our experiences, but it's a little different. And you get to lead, and that's what makes me super excited. So I would love for you to share with everybody a little bit about what you do and maybe what you're going to be talking about.
Well, first off, I have to say that as soon as I heard about Lisa's events, I wanted to support it in any way I could. And at the time, I had just started my real estate business. I was a loan officer for many years, and I decided to get into real estate instead. And it was a good fit, but those first couple of months and years were tough. It's tough to build up your business. And I met somebody at a real estate panel who worked very closely with Lisa. And I said, I love women, supporting women, being there for women. What can I do? And she said, well, we have an event coming up. I went, I bartended, and
Yes.
I got to talk to people. But when I got to stop bartending and sit down and listen to those women share those stories, it's extremely powerful. First of all, to be in a room filled with women, supporting women, and then hear such special stories. To this day, Lisa, I just yesterday
Hmm.
shared about your really good friend who shared her child loss story at one of your events. Like
Oh,
those stories I've heard of your friends, your clients, your partners on those stages, they stick with you for years. And when I got to share my story, it was really powerful because you're in a room and you're getting to be vulnerable, but from the moment you walk in the room, you're welcome, you're supported, you're cared about, your story matters,
Yeah.
and then how your story might impact others, right? But
Yeah.
maybe it's just the
Powerful.
healing journey of digging into your story that may be what you need. I personally go through lots of therapy. I love therapy. It's great. But then you also sometimes just really need to tell other people what's going on with you to feel that release of your stuff
Yeah.
and then feel like, oh, that was okay. And then maybe the shock of someone coming up and saying, oh my gosh, your story really touched
Right.
me. Oh my gosh, it was so powerful to hear. That is very healing. And I just really, your platform, the idea of storytelling, as you and I've talked about and know, historically, storytelling is how people have connected.
Yeah.
I lost a mother quite young, and I remember a Native American quote that said, people's spirit never really dies if you can speak their name.
Mm.
So, speaking of your history, remembering people can be really powerful. And
Yeah.
also just kind of being amongst other women. And if you don't want to share the stories, you
Yeah.
just want to be in the audience because there's little things along the way that heal you or touch you. Or maybe you hear something that then you tell a friend, and then now they're like, oh, I didn't know that another woman had a similar situation. A lot of your domestic violence stories too are so empowering when women who've been through something domestic violence and how empowering that is. And you think, okay, any woman could be in this situation.
Yep.
These are powerful women,
Yeah.
and they were impacted deeply on that. Like one of your stories of the woman who became a kickboxing coach
Yeah.
and a personal, physical coach for women, emotional
Yeah.
coach for women after her own personal journey. That was, I remember she was abused and dropped. And I mean, these stories, like I said, they really resonate all the way back that many years ago. I remember those stories
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's really powerful.
It is. It is a beautiful. I just am always feel very honored and blessed when the women share, when they share with me personally, when they share in a larger group, because I know that even if they don't feel healed in that moment, it's at least a stepping stone towards another level of peace and growth. And nothing happens overnight, but our stories are a gift, and when we're able to use them to heal ourselves and then use them to free other people, I don't know. I
Yeah.
love it. I love my work, and I'm so honored to be sharing space with you all these years. So tell them more about what you might be sharing, or a little bit maybe about your motherhood journey. A teaser,
A
Liz, just
teaser.
a
Yeah, it's a
teaser.
teaser. It's really interesting because we just talked about how going back to school, what it does for working mothers, or
Yeah.
even the mothers who is a work in the house mother, right? They're doing
Yep.
the work every day of motherhood. There is such relief in knowing that my kids, I'm really fortunate that I not only love my job, but my kids love school. So
Yeah.
I'm in a great place. I'm so fortunate. I know not every mother is on that same journey, right? Some
Right.
of us are working a job just so we can afford daycare because we need the mental health release of our job and we need to not be with our kids all the time. It's that judgment of motherhood, I think, that over time has changed for me, right? Like when I didn't have my kids until I was almost 40. My first
Mhm.
child I had almost at 40, my second at 42. I was a woman who thought I understood motherhood. Oh, I'd been a daycare provider, I'd been a teacher. I knew what it took to raise a kid, talk to kids, but then they're in your house all the time and you don't get to go home. You don't get to send them back to someone else. And then you're trying to raise an independent, strong minded woman. I'm raising two daughters.
Yeah.
I love this phrase. I kind of made it up myself, but I kind of hear other women say it. I want to raise really strong minded women, just not in my own house. I want them to,
I get it. I got one of each. So I got
oh,
a little lady here who is just,
yeah,
ooh, yeah.
yeah,
It's an amazing journey.
yeah,
Motherhood is what I say, like I swear in all my posts, it's the most extraordinary adventure of my life and the
yeah.
most challenging, difficult job I've ever had.
Well,
And
especially because
so
you can't quit it.
no, there's
You
no
cannot
quitting.
quit
I
this
mean,
job.
you can, you
Oh, yeah.
can.
You
and but
can.
you won't.
You
You
won't.
won't.
No.
And I pray and hope that all the mothers who are out there going through whatever challenge they're going through right now, that they don't quit. But yeah, I mean, there are days you want to quit it.
Yeah.
You love so immensely, your heart is swelling, and you want to quit.
Yeah. Well, and the other, like the phrase somebody said, I think the other day was that the days will feel long, but the years will be short. It
Oh,
just my 8-year-old is off to school, and I looked at her the other day, and she's this growing young woman, tall, and she's getting bigger. And she said the other day that she was sad. It was really touching. She
yeah.
said, "Mom, it's really sad that I am getting older." And this is what she said. I cried at bedtime last night. And I said, "Oh, why, honey? What happened?" She said, "Because the blanket that was made for her no longer covers her toes."
Oh my gosh, now you're gonna make me cry. Yeah.
Right? I mean, the
It's
insight
hard
of
for
the,
them to grow up too.
and
Yeah.
I told her, and I
Yeah.
just recently read something that was really good about what to do when your kids come to you with like a sad feeling. This whole thing where like, it's all going to be okay and don't worry about
Yeah.
it is really a crappy response.
Yeah.
And so
Let them be sad.
I took this that I
Yeah.
read and I said, that would be really sad, hun.
Yeah.
It is hard to grow up, isn't it? It's hard for me as a mom to see you grow up. I
Yeah.
love how independent you're becoming, but it's also really hard to see you grow up and know someday that this will change. And I said, but that blanket will become a lap blanket when you sit at college
Mm.
by yourself. And
Yeah.
but it was to hear my 8-year-old say,
Okay, now I am gonna cry.
right?
Seriously. I
I
am gonna
know.
cry. Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, motherhood, like it's tough because my girlfriend, who I love dearly in Iowa, used to tell me all the time, it gets better when they get to be 6. 6 was like this magic number
Yeah.
because that's school age, right? That's when
Mhm.
they get to go to school and you get, if you're not homeschooling your kids, I really admire homeschool parents,
Oh gosh,
right?
yeah. Incredible
But
work.
they get to go
Yeah.
to school, and it changed a lot. My husband and I, part of my motherhood is I get babysitters. I
Yeah.
get people who I are not family members, young girls in the neighborhood. I pay them to watch my kids. So I go out, like
Get a
tonight,
break.
I'm going out
Yeah.
to a dinner and a comedy show with my husband.
Yeah.
To me, that is part of motherhood. My
Yeah.
parents went away and did stuff. It was never a thing in my world to have a sitter. I
Well,
loved
I
my
think
sitters.
that's another important point too, Liz, is, motherhood is also about self-care.
Oh, if you
So if
don't,
you
you can't
think
pour.
that you're just gonna buy the things and you're
Oh,
just gonna keep showing up over and over and over for them as you deplete yourself,
yeah,
as your healing journey never begins, as your relationships personally are not mended, then
yeah,
you're also not serving
you're
your
not.
child for their own future growth and happiness. And that
Can't
is
pour
a
from an
hard one. That is a hard one. That took me a long time to learn and
Oh,
accept.
really?
Yeah,
Can't pour
that
from an
did
empty bucket,
for me.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that phrase? You can't pour
Yeah.
from an empty bucket. You can't give, for me personally, it was the physical self-care. So like going to do things. I've been really happy going to the Wild Hive dance class, going to my PT
I
now.
gotta go to that with
Oh,
you.
Lisa, it's the best. Like I cried after my first dance class
I
with
gotta go to
Riley.
that to you.
Yeah, if
Go
you
to that.
haven't done, side note tangent, shout out, go to Wild Hive. It's awesome. But at the same time, she's going to have a trip and I
Yeah.
really want to go. But a
Oh,
little
fun.
tiny part of me is like a trip all by myself for a week.
Yeah. I still
Like,
have a hard time.
it's hard. But I also think,
Yeah.
like you said, though, nurturing your relationship. Like me and my husband the other day, he said, I feel like lately over the summer, it got to be like all we did was talk about the kids
Yeah.
at the end
Yeah.
of the night. So we are really fortunate. My husband doesn't work on Fridays. We do date day Fridays when the
That's
kids
right.
are
I
in
tried to
school.
catch you on Friday and you're like,
Yeah,
no,
no,
ma'am, not
no,
you, Lisa. And I was like, okay, I get
it's
it.
tough, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Good.
I tell my husband, and I really mean it, I didn't get married to have kids. I
Yeah.
want to have a relationship raising children. That's
Yeah.
a totally different
That's a
story,
different
right?
story. Yeah.
I didn't, like I said, I was older, but I knew a relationship still needed to be there. Now,
Two
of
needed
course,
to.
it's
Yeah.
super hard to do. And
Super hard.
I don't know how every woman does it different ways,
Yeah.
but me personally, I have to connect with my spouse because otherwise the burden of motherhood, even if you don't
Feels
want it to,
lonely.
it's so lonely. It's
Yeah.
so, and also, Lisa, I think all the time to myself, I am a feminist. I am a strong woman. How the hell did I fall into these roles that
Yeah.
I didn't intend to? The roles that you like, you take on
Yeah,
things
you
that you don't
do.
realize.
You do
In our
so well.
society, even a good husband, even a good partner, even a good person with intention, you can fall into roles that you
Yeah.
become resentful and
Yeah.
exhausted. And it's this constant, I really want this year to pay a house cleaner.
Yeah.
I just want to. I don't enjoy it. Why
Yeah.
the hell am I scrubbing floors?
Outsource if you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, outsource if you can. And another part of my work mother balances, and I don't know if balance is even the right word because there's no
That
balance.
is, yeah.
It's
It's
just a
fake
constant.
news, fake
Oh yeah,
news.
please. I will say, I I listened to Michelle
Girl,
Obama.
you have 2 more minutes.
Oh, I listened to a Michelle Obama podcast where she said, "Women, you
Yeah.
can't have it all. Stop
Yeah.
thinking you can." This is a woman who you think had it all, right? But you
Yeah. Right.
can't. But what you do need to have is an inner peace with the choices you're making
Yeah.
as a mother, because the judgment from everybody and even yourself can come, and
Yeah.
you have no control over it. So trying to find an inner peace with the choices you're making and the expectations you have for motherhood can totally mess that up. So
Yeah.
our talk is going to be about reality and
Yep.
expectations,
Yeah.
and how you need to just come to terms. Maybe you need to find your tribe, or maybe you just need to find some self peace. You
Yeah.
know what? I choose to sleep in bed with my kids. That's my choice. I don't care. Or I choose to put my kids in their own bed and go to bed with my partner. I
Yep.
let my kid cry themselves to sleep when they were a baby. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
you need to be okay with those choices. And you need to be okay with, I am a woman and a mother. I'm
Yeah.
not just a mother.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh. So all of you guys out there just seriously are like a fly in the wall, because Liz and I could literally go on forever.
Yep.
And we all know Liz is a talker, and that's what's beautiful about her.
Yep.
And that's what makes her amazing at connecting with people, and especially amazing as a realtor. And we love you and we appreciate. Okay, now I'm going to cry. Like, I appreciate all your support from the beginning, and I am going to cry. And to all you out there, I really do hope that you join us, because Liz is phenomenal. All the other women who are joining her in this conversation are phenomenal. And we really do want to hold space for women. And so we invite you, as my tears are falling, to our very first event of the fall series called Motherhood from Birth to Affinity. And we'll be talking about expectations versus reality. It's going to be Thursday, September 15th from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we hope that you will join us. Thank you so much, Liz. And thank you, everybody who's out there watching all the craziness that we keep throwing at you. So have a beautiful day, and we will see you on September 15th, and you'll get to hear more from Liz and her fellow co-hosts. Have a great day.
Have a great day.